Hey guys, it's me, YouTube phenomenon Sumito Media.
Oh my god, it's some ordinary gamers! That's not what I'm called!
According to KnowYourMeme.com, this meme about mistakenly referring to characters as names that seem similar to their actual name started on Tumblr in June of last year. Tumblr user Possessible decided to make this MS Paint artwork of a couple of kids referring to the Cyclops from Homer's Odyssey, known as Polyphemus, and calling him polyamorous, a term that is used to refer to people who have multiple intimate partners, otherwise known as my whore of an ex-girlfriend. While this meme certainly had legs from conception, Tumblr is effectively dead at this point, and it's for that reason that this meme didn't really go on to have any sort of life until it was re-edited and reposted to the r/Tumblr subreddit on Reddit, where somebody made an additional edit that still had the polyamorous punchline, but instead of the Cyclops from Homer's Odyssey, they had the arcade machine by the name of Polybius. Polybius, if you aren't familiar, isn't actually an arcade machine. A little bit of a side tangent here, but Polybius is actually an urban legend in old gaming lore. Evidently, only one arcade cabinet existed in Portland, Oregon back in 1981, and it allegedly led to people having manic episodes and night terrors, but for whatever reason could not find themselves to move away from coming back and playing the game over and over again, supposedly causing additional sickness, seizures, and even death. But the Wikipedia page states that there is no known evidence of Polybius actually ever existing. The urban legend goes on to explain this by stating that men in black suits would be observing people playing the arcade cabinet before removing all existing entities, and now it's just this myth that probably didn't happen. Additional versions of this meme will continue to pop up on the internet, with multiple users making versions of the polyamorous edit with other things that started with the word poly, such as the Polychrome Joker skin from Balatro or Polytoad the Pokemon from Pokemon, but obviously this didn't really start to get juicy until we started to get examples that were so much stupider that I would argue you wouldn't even understand most of them. For instance, one user on Twitter makes this version that has a flaming phoenix being referred to as a penis by the kids before stating that's not what I'm called, a callback to an old meme on YouTube where somebody made a lyric video for Daft Punk's Get Lucky, but for whatever reason they misheard the lyrics as like the legend of the phoenix as like the legend of the penis.
Like the legend of the phoenix.
My favorite examples of these memes are the ones that have a little bit more layering to it, a bit of an inside joke. You have to have a bit of insider knowledge to be able to appreciate. For instance, here's this example with the main character from Persona 4, who goes by Yu Narukami, being referred to as Jamal-kun, which doesn't make any sense because those names don't sound similar, but it's actually a reference to this I don't know how old screenshot of the scene where Yukiko sort of admits her love for you, or after you've reached romance with her, in which she states, "I'm so happy that you're my first boyfriend, Jamal-kun," showing that the person playing the character has named himself Jamal, his real name, and then it's followed up by this sort of like MS Paint drawing of what they think the average person playing a video game about going through high school romances would be like, and it's making fun of sort of like the Japan-obsessed American gamer playing a Japanese game in order to experience going through high school and reaching romance. All of that evoked by the name Jamal-kun in that earlier version. Like, it's so many levels to this. I love this one. Here is an example of who I believe to be Dracula from the Castlevania franchise being referred to as "I arch my bacula," which is sort of a term that people I've seen use on TikTok to refer to people who kind of look like a gay vampire as like the gay cousin of Dracula, as "I arch my bacula." I believe this is an extension of an old screenshot that people have where they were asking the Google AI search while it was in its heyday of being dog shit whether or not Slenderman has any gay characters in its universe, and evidently Google was under the impression that Slenderman has a gay cousin by the name of I Like Menderman, which is just beautiful. Are there any gay characters in the Sumito Media franchise? There sure are. He's showing you memes right now. There's three main categories of this meme that I've seen become prolific over the course of the last couple of weeks on Twitter. The first example is just characters whose names almost kind of sound like something sort of sexual, and then as a result people are just taking the absolute most extreme version of that and then just sort of making a bit of a brain rot earworm version of their name that once you hear it, you can't stop calling them that. For instance, here's Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho being referred to as used gay, which, yeah, Here's Cosmo and Wanda from the Fairly Odd Parents being called Costco and Walmart, and I have to admit, I feel like that's a little too coincidental for nobody to have thought of. It's him, Tokyo Goon. I'm never gonna get away from this, am I? The second example of this is less so people whose names are misremembered or said in another way, and more so people whose main character of a franchise is sort of mistaken to be the name. For instance, The Legend of Zelda, with everybody calling Link Zelda, or Twink if you prefer. My favorite, of course, is Kiryu from the Yakuza franchise being referred to as John Yakuza, which is not a name in that game. The last iteration that I found is versions that alter the not what I'm called text to read something like the character responding to you in a way that they would in the show, or otherwise a meme that does a little bit more than just pronounce the name and rather make some sort of callback to the franchise in a way that if you understand it, it's because you're a fan of the franchise, and just gives that little bit of extra, oh, if you know, you know. Looks like I'm an insider, I understood the joke. For instance, here's the antagonist to the hit indie horror game Buckshot Roulette being referred to as Backshot, which I imagine a lot of people say backshot instead of buckshot just because it's funnier, but the most well-known example of this was a group of VTubers who came together to all play Buckshot Roulette, and the thumbnail read Backshot Roulette with all of their little VTuber characters in front, so it just seemed like this weird slip-of-the-tongue mistranslation thing that everybody made fun of, which is hilarious. We've also got Seto Kaiba and Duke Devlin from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise referring to Joey Wheeler as Doggy, making a callback to the episode where Yugi had to take on Duke Devlin in the Dice Dungeon Monsters, I forget what it's called, game, and the entire time Joey was dressed as a dog and just kind of being humiliated while trying to cheer on Yugi, lest he lose and be stuck in a dog outfit. That was genuinely the stakes of this one. No Shadow Realm included, just we're gonna make fun of Joey if you lose this one, Yugi. Great vegetables. Great vegetables. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video and want to see more of me in your inbox. If you guys would like to download all the memes that were featured in this video and the ones I didn't get to use, I'm going to make a little asset dump on my Patreon. You don't need to subscribe, it's free, but feel free to click and download all those memes if you want to share it with your buddies. A big shout out to the guys who are subscribed to the Patreon, getting bonus videos and extra content every single month. A big thank you to you, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Not what I'm called!